Outreach, which is one of the nonprofits that we have here, as well with Village Hope, which is we're building tiny houses as well. But we had, I believe, at least 80%, if not more, of our residents in that trailer park were Latinos. So I needed more interpreters, and everybody was reaching out to the community. Time was ticking. And that's when I met Isleth, and it was like kindled spirits. I'm like, she reminds me of me as a young lady with so much ambition and drive and vision, you know, and very spiritual to that. I commend her for being, again, such a visionary. And she and I just clicked, and we've been inseparable. Got to meet Kevin, her beautiful son. We had so many things in common, not only being Latinas, first generation American, and she too, and her son. I used to teach at a independent living services where we had children with autism and all kinds of, you know, challenges. But we just clicked and helped each other, help navigate these families. But I just wanted to introduce her. She's, again, I'm gonna have to read. I'm sure you guys, I'm gonna probably be off the camera for a little bit, but I'm so amazed of all of her accomplishments. Again, thank you everyone for being here today. But she's got, educators. She's got, let me see here, she graduated in, I've got her bio that she just sent not too long ago. Let me see here so I can, but yes, studied, and I should know this, but has her degree. She's a mental advocate. And of course she studied, what was the university? Oh my goodness, I am, don't have my glasses. So, okay, let me see here. The academy called.
She's answering, hold on.
Yes, please jump in with that, because I'm looking through my thing and I can't find it. Isleth, you're gonna kill me.
I have my certification to teach Spanish.
Yes. Yeah.
I obtained all of that in 2014 is when I graduated. And so that's just a little bit of my educational background. But yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So she's written, you know, several books. She's a poet, of course, as you will know, super talented. Her stories is, one of her stories is the book about struggles and victories, about a little Latino boy, and is a mother of an amazing little kid, who is always, or is not always easy to understand, but to learn to accept his way of learning. So again, talking about her book. I'm sorry. By reading this book, yes, we'll be able to see how the child can be affected not only by his mother, but the entire community. So again, it is titled The Internal Waters of Life, Love, and Grace. That was published in 2016. And again, just a beautiful inspiration. There's a lot of pain, hurt, sorrow, joy, happiness, and thankfulness, of course. And again, being part of Learning Idiom, she's a co-founder, or the founder, and I'm the co-founder of the Learning Idiom, which is the mission. This is a virtual vocational academy. So there's where we mend cultures, languages, barriers by helping students perfect their English and Spanish. So besides that, Learning Idiom also teaches other skills such as, let me see here. nonprofits also focusing on helping children and adults with their mental health, more importantly. And of course, a little vocational academy where we teach, this is what I meant to say earlier, cooking, canvas painting, and many other courses on a professional excellence. So again, I just want to invite everyone today, and let's see here. That's it. That's all I've got to say. I mean, I can go on and on. She is a Renaissance young lady for sure. So. All right. Isleth, are you there?
Yes, okay, so next up, amazing. This is a new friend of mine. I spoke to her literally within the first couple of minutes of me talking to her. I got goosebumps. She is an amazing person. She is a parenting, family life strategist, parent educator, inspirational speaker, author, pastor, and this is Miss Stapleton. So take it away, Miss Stapleton. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, hello, everyone. We could allow things to get in our way, but guess what? When you have an opportunity to do something that is so awesome, you just run with it, right? So I am in a Zoom with some amazing women, and I'm on Clubhouse with some women. I never would have thought that would have been a thing, right? So with that being said, my name is Shearese Stapleton. I am the executive director of Mothers of Joy University, where empowering families is truly a way of life. And what I am speaking to you today about is...
You all can't hear me, and I don't want to do that.
Uh-oh.
So can you hear me if I'm on here and I'm speaking? Yeah.
I can hear you.
Now I'm asking the ladies on Zoom. Can you hear me? Yes, right? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So what I am speaking on today is it's a concept that is within the mental health field called ACEs. It is adverse childhood experiences. And what it gears towards is not what's wrong with you, but it is what may have happened to you. And a lot of times, parents go through things that they don't even know that they have to deal with. I mean, have you ever stubbed your toe, right? And you say, oh, okay, my toe, it hurts, right? But over a course of time, your toe may get black, right? Or it may just start to hurt every now and again. You may not even think about it too much because, the pain is small, or it just doesn't, the words I want to use is, it's not as nagging as it would be if it was something that was pressing. That's the way life issues happen, right? Something may have happened to you later or earlier in your lifespan that you didn't even think was something until later on in life where something triggered it and it opened up a whole can of worms. And that is what ACEs is. So let me go to this PowerPoint. And the point on ACEs that I'm going to talk about is really the emotional healthy child. 5 practical tools to help you and your child and to learn how to govern their emotions. Why do you think it's important to govern your emotions? I don't know. I might want some participation on this if someone would be so kind to answer that question. There's so many emotions that every day you feel, so that is very important, regardless if you're male or female.
Well,
anyone?
Yeah, so this is Chanel. I also think with emotions, if you don't learn how to govern them, they get stuck in your body and they create a whole bunch of other issues that if you don't deal with can cause physical and mental health issues down the road.
Mhm. Anyone else?
Become a trauma for sure.
Yes, ma'am. That's one of the main points. When if you think about it, think about a 2-year-old that has a tantrum. I like to go here. When 2-year-olds have tantrums, they're generally having a tantrum because they don't have the language to say exactly what they're trying to express. So the tantrum is to get your attention. And most of the time it does because they do these tantrums in the most unopportune places, right? The grocery store, in church, in places where we are like, oh no, this shouldn't be happening right now. But what they're doing is they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're learning how to handle what's going on with their body. Now, as you as a parent, it's important for you to not jump right at them and, oh my God, no, this is not what we do. Talk them through the emotion because that's what it is. Okay, I understand that you may be feeling a certain kind of way. Are you cold? Start asking questions. Are you hot? Are you hungry? Do you not want to be here? Because what we do is we assume that what they're going through is that we know what they're going through. We don't. We don't know if it's a child may have took something from them and that child ran away and now they're no longer in our view. So now we're just left with the end results of what happened. You would be surprised at what a child can show you, even at 2 years old. So when you govern your emotions, you learn how to handle them. You learn how to deal with them as early as 2 years old. Now I want you to take a step back. When I say emotions can happen when we are rushed or when we are not organized. When we take a step back, we can look at the things from a different perspective. Can anyone relate with being rushed and having to take a step back to view your next steps, especially with little people? Anyone?
For sure. We don't want to be reactive. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Naomi. When I say that is a lot of times parents be able to get up and get going. But we as parents don't sometimes want to get up and just get going. We have to give ourselves time to be able to, set our feet to the ground, to be able to put some water on our face, to get ourselves acclimated with the day. And that's why it's important to be organized. Does anyone agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely, yes.
Trying to get y'all to engage with me because I'm talking a lot. And I know some of y'all know some of this stuff. So I'm just preaching to the choir. I know I am, right? So Tuesday.
Good job. Very nice.
Thank you, Naomi. So it says start where you are. When we come to learn, you are doing just that, learning. So you are not expected. That means perfection is not expected. So when we put expectations on ourselves, think about those expectations we put on our children. We have to start somewhere. When I say start, that means give yourself an opportunity to be, if you fail at something, don't beat yourself up as a parent, even as an educator. Because a lot of times we expect ourselves to know certain things, but then sometimes it may not turn out the way we want it to. Can anyone relate to that?
Yeah, I think it's really helpful. The other thing I also wanted to mention as you're talking about that is learning to and teaching others to reframe failure as feedback. Because I think at times we look at failure as if it's like the end of the world when all it is just giving us information to help us guide us to our next step.
Thank you, Chanel. That right there, when you say that, that is golden. Because think about how our children feel when they get to a place and they fail. I don't know if your children or every child that I've kind of worked with thus far, failure seems like the ultimate end, like nothing else can come after that. And we as educators, we as parents, we as people who are given the opportunity to speak into the lives of children and people, we have to give them the okay, that it's okay to make a mistake. Because that's how we learn. But our society has made it so that if you make a mistake, that you are not, that you're not doing good, that you're not progressing. But ultimately, failure to a degree is making a step, because you'll know what not to do the next time, right? Miss Naomi, I think you were going to say something.
Definitely. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's like I agree. You know, what I agree with both also Chanel. Every failure is a feedback, and also I think it's good, like for the perspective of the child, to not grow fear of not trying, right? So sometimes, like if they notice, like compared to other countries, in other countries, for example, if the student take a test, they are more likely to try to work hard on a hard problem without, regardless of if they will succeed or not. And in a more Western country or in United States, they would be afraid because they would be afraid to fail. So they would go to the easy one.
Thank you for that, Naomi. So I'm going to get finished because I truly know that there are other people that are to speak, and I don't have a problem talking. So we'll go into 3. Why are you thinking? Excuse me, what are you thinking? It says, at the core of your deepest emotions are the belief and what drives them. So if we think about that in itself, what we believe is ultimately what we project, right? If you believe that if a child believes that they can jump over something, they're going to take the attempt and try to jump over it. Us as adults, we've made those attempts, so we won't go as quickly to do something, right? So that's a new learner. What you believe is ultimately what you will project. 4, get control of your response. Parents, when your child comes to you with the food is nasty, I don't know about you, but I've had a little one come to me and say, I don't want this. Now you have worked. Go ahead, Naomi.
No, I'm clapping my hands.
So I have had a child tell me, I don't want this. This is nasty. But you as a parent, you may have worked really hard on that food. And it may have been something that you wanted them to eat, right? To nourish their body. But they just may not want to eat that. I'm sure some of you have already gotten up, but there is a way to control this response. When children come to us and tell us that it's something that they don't like, we have to accept that, because that may be something that they don't like. And that emotion may hurt us as a parent or as someone that's providing something for that child, because we've taken the time to do that. But it's their right to tell us, right? So we can say, okay, well, if you don't want to eat that, then what is it on this plate that you do like? Okay, they may not like the green beans, but they might like the chicken. They may not like the chicken, but they might like the green beans. Or either they may like the bread, but they may not. So, and I'm not saying that we give them so many options, but what I am saying is that we do give them options, because it's just not fair for us to try to make people do things, right? 5, let's talk about this self-care tactic for us parents. Saying you can't take care of, this is a saying that I have, okay? And I'm sorry if I get a little tongue twisted. I get a little excited when I'm amongst my peers and I'm presenting something that is near and dear to me. If you take care of others before you take care of yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I say that with all the respect that I can for you all as women and as educators and as parents. So I need you to hear me, and I hopefully that you take this to heart more than anything that I've said in this speech right here. Take care of yourself while taking care of others. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of others. That is not being selfish. That is not being neglectful. That is being more self-preserving than anything that you could ever do. If your mental state is not strong, you can't teach your children or project to anyone else to have a strong mental state. If your physical is not in good shape, you can't do that for anyone else. So you being the example is the best thing that you could do for someone. In my closing, thank you, Naomi. In my closing, what I want to say to you is that in all totality, make sure that the things that you project are peace, grace, and love. With that, I will end. I know it wasn't a lot for you because I kind of bounced around, but I got excited and pulled some other things in. I do see that Dr. Quinn has her hand up, so I am going to say, I'm going to let her say something, and then this is my what do I call Dr. Quinn? Dr. Quinn is my person. She is my my social worker. She is my vice president of Mothers of Joy Family Foundation, but she is she's also she's just kind of awesome at what she does too. So I just kind of want her to speak a minute, and then I will turn it back over to the amazing host.
Well, thank you. And it's good to see everyone on this bright
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon. I would like to say thank you, Master Stapleton. Master Stapleton is a contributing expert and a partner to the school district that I work in. She supports the parents that we have that are in need of, we call it a little bit of mother's joy. She also has brought awareness to ACEs and the trauma-informed parenting approach. And so for that, we are thankful to have her as part of our school district. I really like what you said about choosing your words carefully. And that's a big one. And that's one of the ones that parents say that they really struggle with. And instead of saying you need to, you may want to say, would you like to, or do you want to? So I heard you talk a lot about choice, and choice really is a big factor. I mean, children are little people. And actually, if we can get parents to rethink the situation and allow it to be a learning opportunity, you may find out that maybe your child's a vegetarian and doesn't like chicken. And maybe, or vice versa, maybe they're a carnivore and they only want meat. So just take it as a learning opportunity. So thank you, Master Stapleton.
Oh my goodness, that's something right there. On the other line, there's a Rose. I don't want to say your last name wrong. Miss Rose, your hand is up.
Yes, I'm muted. I want to apologize. I think I was looking at the time differently. I'm in East Coast, and I was like, did they say 3 p.m. or 2 p.m.? My apologies to the host and everybody else. My name is Rosa Ginga. I don't know whether I have a minute or two to introduce myself.
I'm not the hostess. I am helping, but Miss, I know your hand was up, so the moderators come back,
sure,
please.
I mean, if she wants to introduce herself, she can. She has about 5 minutes.
Okay, she said 5 minutes, Miss Rose.
Thank you. Apologies again. Great discussion. I was listening from behind. Oh my gosh, you got it all as it should be. How I wish we can do what you're saying. But again, it's a learning process. We have to accept that we are not there yet, and we keep doing what we have to do. My name is Rosa Ginga, and a friend invited me here, and I'm so privileged to be here. So who am I? Rosa Ginga lives in East Coast, Florida, and I am from Kenya. I'm one person who is very fortunate enough. At age 14, I was not supposed to go to school, but get married. So I have been a transformational coach because I got an opportunity for education. This education has brought me to the US and has made me an author and has made me transform over 20,000 lives in Kenya of young people. And I am working or I have published a book, 2 books, Unmasking Bullying, which is very key to this topic that we are dealing with, and Budget Fitting for all the beautiful women I see here. You need to secure your future. So I am here to let you know that if you need a forum where I can speak about bullying or speak about finances, I'm here to say, hey, call me, I'll come over. Thanks again for the opportunity.
Wow, that's fantastic. I want to clap, but I thank you so much. That's amazing. We really do have such a great group today. And again, I just want to thank ISLETH for creating this summit that is very needed, and in hopes that we can continue this journey and add to our communities worldwide. Why not? You know, it takes, like they say, a village, right? So anyone else? I see a Miss Donna. Did you want to?
That, you know, I started this journey because it is a journey. I started this journey about 6 years ago, and I did not do anything and I did not take action because I did not know exactly what I wanted to do. I still had not found myself. And so I do want to take a moment to definitely remind every single person and every single mother, you are not, your family is not just your identity. And so definitely that was a struggle for me. And I have finally come into myself at the same time as, you know, I've been married for 10 years. My son's 9 years old. And so definitely it took me a decade, but I'm just glad that, you know, I am at the beginning stages and have a wonderful community of amazing, you know, people that have so much wisdom that I can definitely learn from. And so I just want to also express my gratitude for, you know, every single speaker that is about to shed some more wisdom. So thank you so much. Next, we have, we definitely are super, super excited just to have this, you know, amazing group of women. Next is, I don't see her on Clubhouse, but her name is Miss Clayton. I'm not sure if she's on Clubhouse. I did ping her in.
She's on Zoom.
Oh, okay. Well, Miss Clayton, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you for having this and for inviting me to this current summit. My name is Shauna Lee Clayton, and I'm a mother of 4 wonderful children. And I met my friend here on Clubhouse, and we were talking about the same thing because we had a child who had similar issues in terms of I had a child who's diagnosed with Down syndrome, just a slight bit. So I do believe I have a lot of value because I had, as a parent, it's hard. And sometimes, as you said, you have to choose your words quite correctly. So that is in fact true. So I'm really super excited to be here today. I'm at work, guys. So if I have to turn off my video because I have to attend my patient, then I just couldn't miss it. So I decided that I'm gonna tune in, and I just want to thank you. And it's such a great pleasure to be here and to meet you guys today. So I'm ready to get started and hear what we can accomplish today from this gathering. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know if I told a little bit of my background. I don't think I skipped myself. It's awkward to talk about yourself, isn't it? Or is it just me? But my name is Claudia Fountain, and I am a daughter of immigrants, the youngest of 3 sisters and 2 brothers. I have a sister who is has epileptic seizures. So at a very young age, I had to help my mother, of course, cook and clean. So did my sisters. We all shared responsibilities. My father had his own welding business. My father spent most of his time working. And my mother was at stay-home mom, but she also did a lot of like Avon, was a consultant for Avon. And I remember just having to like almost resent my sister because I couldn't go out. I had to, help bathe her and, take care of her. And then once my house was clean, then I can go out with my friends and my homework was done and all that stuff. But, as I grow older, I'm just like, I wouldn't change a thing from my upbringing at all. I remember running from school to my home where my brothers and sisters were anxiously waiting for me to teach them English because they immigrated from Mexico, Monterrey, Mexico. And I being the only one born in Texas, in America. So I knew at a very early age that I was going to be an educator. I knew why God put me on this earth, this beautiful earth, was to connect and educate, facilitate, navigate, and learn. And it's not ever about me. I thank my parents for instilling in me that it's not all about you. It's when you can envision and surround yourself with the same people with the same vision, you can move mountains. Definitely, you can definitely heal many people and just stay true to yourself. So I'm blessed. Been living in Arkansas for 23 years, went to the University of Central Arkansas, where I studied English and studied also ESL, early childhood education, with specializing in Spanish. So I'm going to stick to what I know, which is Espanol. So I was a teacher for over 10 years and started teaching at the Adult Education Center, where I met beautiful people from all over the world, Russia, Malaysia, China, so I fell in love with linguistics. I fell in love with culture. I fell in love with people, period. So I think when you learn more about other people's culture, it's more of a humanity race, not so much of an ethnic, like where do you come from? It's more like, we have so much in common as human beings. So I learned so much. After that, my doors opened to get certified to teach law enforcement. I did that for about 5 years. And I didn't fit anywhere. I didn't want to waste my gifts. I wanted to really make an impact, and I saw the lack of representation in the state of Arkansas. So I began searching for new nonprofits where they were paving the way for, for the unseen and the unheard. And I mean all around. I mean all around. But that's okay. But again, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. And I've got a beautiful 22-year-old son who worked in the mental wellness community at a counseling place at a very young age. He got certified to teach martial arts, mixed martial arts. He's 3rd degree black belt, one of the youngest in the state to be certified at 16. He's 22 now. He goes to every school. He goes to every clinic. He goes to every company where they can teach them self-defense for the women and children, and anti-bullying at the schools. I'm blessed that I have such great kids. I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? I'm like, okay, God, when are they going to act up and be bad kids? But no, I'm humbled. My daughter is a nutrition major at my university that I went to, and she is amazing. She 3.8 GPA, just got a scholarship. She models part-time and works at the local gym at the Hyper Center, it's called here. But it's a big responsibility as a Latina leader because people are watching. And you have to definitely, we're not perfect, I'm not perfect, but we definitely have to be approachable, if you will. So I come from humbling beginnings. And again, I couldn't do any of this without a collaboration of other superhuman beings. With that being said, I've left. Is there anything else that you want to say?
No, just definitely wanted to hand over the mic to Ms. Clayton, and yeah, just definitely piggyback on, the amazing mind of always thinking that something's going to go wrong, because I can't count the many times that I have definitely thought, when everything is perfect, where you're constantly always looking and looking and looking, and you're like, okay, what's going to happen? You're like, that when you're a mom, you have to be ready. And so definitely Miss Clayton, definitely let's hear yours. 15 to 30 minutes. You have the floor. Is she on Zoom?
No, but Miss y'all I am not gonna chop these last names up. Help me, please.
Okay. That's okay. If she's not on Zoom, that's okay. Naomi is next.
Yes.
And so definitely, I just have to shout out my Jewish friend. I met her when I Valued Culture, and we just have been, definitely connecting off Clubhouse. It's funny that most of these relationships happen because of Clubhouse. So shout out to the creators of Clubhouse. But yeah, Naomi is an amazing, amazing woman. I'll let her introduce herself. But I definitely, I'm Jewish, she's Jewish. And so definitely wanted to say hello to my Jewish friends. And even if you're not Jewish, you are still loved. And so you are still chosen, you are still valued, you are still God's children. And so I definitely want to spread that little, in Spanish, they say, dar porra, which means praise. Mm-hmm. And so, as a Jewish person, I think praise is something that's so predominant that I've seen. And so definitely wanted to say to all of my Jewish friends, it's Sunday, but, shalom. Mm-hmm. And so, Naomi, you have the floor.
Thank you. Shalom, shalom. And, I always say Jesus is Jew. He never said he's not Jewish anymore. So we are all in the same club, as we say. Mm-hmm. But anyway, about me, I help create with entrepreneur engaging and converting videos and script based on emotional response marketing. So you can show up with confidence, stand out as an expert, and attract the client that's longing for your help. That's what I do. And I also authored 2 books. One is The Deep Sea, See Into Your Soul and Find Your Inner Spark. And I also wrote for children, and it's for the parents. My mom told me to be quiet because then the child can re-examine his emotion, and the parent learn to be more aware of how they speak to their kids. So I also train and certify people with NLP practitioner and master. That's a neuro-linguistic programming to help people, parents and children, choose the better perspective in life. So I like what everyone else said. It's beautiful. And I think what I'll go through, it's kind of probably reinforce everything you said. So I believe that as a parents, we need to be responsible and kind of be as proactive as possible rather than reactive. So as Shearese, the lovely Shearese said before about like the child can go through tantrum and things like that. So instead of being reactive, like embarrassed at the same moment and like not what to do, it's like stop and breathe and be proactive. Think, right? Like Shearese said, ask question. What, right? Like ask question and legitimate. And by the way, the example that Shearese brought before about they don't like to eat certain things, for example. So in the NLP, there is a process that take people from like something to dislike. So for example, if someone cannot stop eating chocolate, for example, but we can make him not like it anymore, but we are not allowed to do the other way around. We don't want to help them something that they dislike. We don't want to make them like it. And the reason is sometimes the body knows better, right? So like if they have certain allergy, sometimes there is a reason why they don't like certain things. So it again goes hand in hand with what you were told before. So remember, we can create trauma by being reactive or unaware to the child emotion, and even saying quiet, like when the child is sings, he already in his head might think, oh, I sing not beautifully, or what I say is not legitimate, right? So he's a little child. At that moment, he makes links that are not necessarily correct. And so we have to be very vulnerable what we expose the kids to. So for example, I had a client that she startup, and every time she wanted to get investment, she will self-sabotage it. And when we did like a timeline therapy where we would take her back, that she could not remember consciously why she sabotaged her success with money. But when we float above her timeline to the first time she ever felt that was when she was 3 years old. And all of a sudden she see that her parents are arguing, her parents got the amount of money, and they're arguing between them about what to do with the money. The father wanted to spend it and the money wanted to save it. So at that moment, she's at 3 years old, right? At that moment, what does she think? She registered in her mind a distorted link that money it means war. It means evil. Okay, so only when we release this link that she had in her brain could she stop having this self-sabotage. So as a parents, and I think we are lucky in this generation that like parents usually come up a little bit older to bring the kids usually, or at least they have more awareness about the emotional part, and hopefully as many as more. So we are pre-programmed ourselves, and that's another thing is that we bring our own packages to the table. So that's another thing to consider, right? Like I remember that I always said I would never scream at my kids when they fall down like my father would to do. And he would say, I told you to be careful. I told you to be careful. And I have the loveliest father. But I would automatically do it. Although I was aware, I would automatically do it until I caught myself and say, I'm not going to do it. Okay, so like really pay attention. Otherwise, we will continually do it from generation to generation. So like, make sure you break the pattern. And recently on Oprah Winfrey, I read that the prince, the little prince that decided he's not going to be a prince. But anyway, he said that his father, when he was telling him about the emotional and mental problem and why he acts like that, the father said, that's what I know. That's what my parents did to me. So that's what you get, right? So that's what I know. That's what you get. So we are better than that in the sense that we understand and we release the thing that we hold, so we're not going to repeat it over and over again. Before I continue, any questions so far or any light that you want to add in so it can be engaging?
That's amazing. That's funny that you mentioned The Little Prince, because that is my mom's favorite movie. Sorry if you hear yells. Again, my son has autistic tendencies, and so he sometimes yells. That is his form of communication. And so I don't. I used to think why, but now I just kind of that's his way of communicating. But yes, Naomi, thank you so much for mentioning that that movie, because it definitely reminds me of my mom. And that's so funny because, this is a mother type event. Of course, his father's as well, but I wanted to definitely highlight amazing mothers, as well as people who have so much information, who have been experienced, but have experience when it comes to certain type of parenting. So thank you so much, Naomi, for definitely that, and keep going.
Thank you. So practically, the real also prince from England Kingdom. It's repetitive, right? It's like a pattern, right? So another thing that when we're talking also about princess story and stuff like that, we were fed as little girls that we will like Cinderella story and stuff like that. So we're not necessarily were empowered to be independent and stuff. Like we were told, like you married a prince and you lived happily ever after. So that here come the like all kinds of beliefs and resentment. And as said before, we project out to our kids, and like sometimes we really have to be careful with our emotion, in the sense that if we have the emotion, check them out before you project, right? Because otherwise there is anger displacement, right? So we will displace our anger or like resentment on our kids. So really pay attention when you are triggered, either by your kids or other things. Ask yourself without judgment why you feel that way, right? So like there's like the shame feeling and stuff like that. And the child really reads it unconsciously. So that's part of responsibility, and being proactive is very important. So remember also, in each of us, there's also a child. Okay, so we sometimes, if we get anxious or something, send the child that within you love. Okay, and what you can do is like you can have like the child, and you can talk to the child and say, "Oh, you are loved. I'm so proud of you. You are amazing," which is you, right? And you are the mom for a minute. And also what you can do is like if the parents that was like maybe wrong or was like scream at you or whatever there is, have that mom, whoever is your real mom, also talk to the child and apologize for that's what she knew the best, and she apologized and whatever you want to hear. So you release a lot of carrying all these unwarranted baggages that definitely not going to help in parenthood. So another thing, I wrote few things. So like another thing to really pay attention is that learn to apologize if you hurt your kids, right? So even if you think you're right, if the kids felt that he got hurt, it's okay to apologize, right? Because your kids might even later on when they are teens, and I have 3 kids and they are teens, they might say something that you don't even recall that you said or something. So first say, hey, this is not right. I'm sorry if I hurt you, if it was not right, and like break this pattern. Otherwise, they would do the same to the kids. Another thing that please stop me if you have any question or you want to emphasize anything I said. Otherwise, I'm gonna go over my points, and then you can wait, and then you can say after anything that you want to add now.
Naomi, I want to say thank you for letting and reminding us to be able to say and apologize to our kids. That wasn't something that was modeled for me growing up. And I think learning as an adult that I have to be able to take ownership of of what is mine, and being able to apologize when I make mistakes is a huge lesson. And if we can teach that to our children when they're younger, it saves them a whole lot of headache and heartache when they become adults.
Naomi, I also wanted to say too, that point is so important, even with young children, right? 2 and 3 year olds, because what happens is it teaches them along the path, and if they learn it early, just as I don't want to mess up people's names, so I'm just going to say the person that spoke before me, just as she stated, if we do that at an early age, it actually helps to mitigate the things that have happened with us. So it removes that I don't want to, how some people say curse. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as what was the learned behavior that we learned from our parents. It actually removes that. And as our children grow up, they don't do the same things that we did. So thank you for that. And the proactiveness, I love being proactive. The thinking before I do something, or helping my parents to think before they speak, is one of the most valuable things you can do. Thank you, Naomi.
Thank you all. You guys inspiring me. So also like the reason, and we talked about a little bit before, mistake and run it from generation to generation. Sometimes we can be unresourceful for a minute. And then when we are unresourceful, that's when we sometimes do a mistake and we try like to threat or say something that now later we say, oh, that doesn't sound good, right? Like I will call the police. I will, I don't know, all this crazy, funny thing when we feel unresourceful or we lose control. So, as we said, we learn from everything. And I wrote exactly like the few things that you already said. Shearese and Chanel mentioned few. So when we are not fulfilled, we can be resentful and project it out. So of course, we really need to nurture ourselves for sure. And feeling guilty doesn't stop you from wrong. So like it's not like, okay, feel guilty and then you don't repeat it. Some people feel guilty and they continually stealing. So don't worry about feeling guilty. Just like improve. And a child model and watch what you do more than what you say. And also is looking to see if there is a congruent between what you say and what you do. So you really want to make sure you don't confuse the child and all, right? Like saying one thing, doing another. And like if you say to a little child, okay, hands up, hands down, hands up. But like, let's say if you would say hands up, but hands will be down, okay? He will follow your hands down rather than what you say. So we need kind of to be a model to our kids. When they see that we are fulfilling ourselves and we live our dreams, then they are more likely to do and dare to do theirs. And another mistake sometimes parents have is that we try what the dreams that we didn't fulfill, we try to make our kids fulfill it for us, right? But they have different dreams. So don't try to like make them live your dreams. Make them live their dreams and you fulfill yours. So one more thing I think, and we can like, I would love to hear your feedback is don't expect from a child what is not capable, right? So like sometimes parents do the mistake that first of all, they compare the children to one each other, or they expect from each child the same. And also have expectation that they are not like really capable, even emotionally. So like this lady, Kathy Byron, that she was hospitalized in mental cases. She said like she couldn't stand the mess the kids would leave behind. And for years, she got so upset, mentally hospitalized until she one day decided, wait a minute, I bring it on my own. So I know that we want to discipline the kids. On the other hand, we still need to give them some opening to fully be creative and express themselves. So what she noticed is when she came back and she realized that she bring a lot on herself, she said she stopped saying to them, oh, pick up this, pick up your laundry. What she did, she started to pick it up instead if it bothers her. And what she noticed, again, is not what she say, is what she model. As soon as she started to do, she noticed that the kids do it automatically too. So that's my, it was longer than a nutshell, but that's my nutshell. So please, engage, say your thought. And I really appreciate everything that was said before me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And this is Claudia. My children are 11 months apart. I had my son first, and I felt like I couldn't really enjoy. He was 5 months and I was already 6 weeks pregnant. My doctor said, oh, you won't get pregnant if you breastfeed type of thing. But, it's a blessing. They're Irish twins. I say my ex-husband now is English, Latina mom, Irish twins, and internacional, una familia internacional. We say international familia. But my daughter would always say, I was a surprise. And I said, yes, you were. She goes, but they have such a beautiful relationship. Of course, they're a little competitive, both of them, but it was very difficult for me because I had no family here in the state of Arkansas. All my family's in Texas. So I struggled a lot. My mother stayed with me for the first 3 months. And so I didn't have any time. Both of them, it's like having literally twins. Both of them could not walk yet, both in diapers. And it was a struggle. I don't know how I did it, going to school, working part-time, full-time mama. Wow. How do we do it? How did my parents do it? Because we were 6 of us, you know? So really, we are incredible. We are incredible women. We really are. And I'm getting better about talking about myself, because it's a little challenge for me, and I get a little nervous, so I apologize. But I'm out here, my puppy's needing to go outside, so I apologize. I didn't mean to distract. But thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your professionalism. I'm actually taking not only mental notes, but actual notes, because we're all in different levels of parenting. I'm 48 and I was 24 when you're 48 too. So Ms. Stapleton.
I will be 48 in August. I'm just claiming it because I wanted to come.
There you go. There you go. That's fine. But yes, so I applaud each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I Beth again, and every single person on this panel today. So thank you. All right, who's next?
Thank you. And Dr. Susan, just mute people.
Sorry, can you mute your mic, Doctor? Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and I want to thank Alice for this ISEL, for your beautiful bring it all together. That's beautiful. And yeah, I'm sure after everybody speak, there are other people like Dr. Susan who can share a lot of knowledge too. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for that amazing, share of reminding us that, not to expect so much of our kids, especially at an early age. Miss Clayton here is on Clubhouse. Yay! So definitely wanted to give her, she was next. And so definitely wanted to give her 15 to 30 minutes as well. We definitely want her to share her wisdom as well. So thank you, ladies. And also, hello, Luis. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Dr. Susan. This is a parenting summit. It's hosted by Learning Idiom. And me, as well as everybody that's part of Learning Idiom, including Claudia Fountain that you just heard. We're on Zoom and we're on Clubhouse at the same time. And so if you hear other voices with the same picture, that's the reason why. Wanted to definitely introduce myself as well, just to reset the room, as we say here on Clubhouse. My name is Aislat Celadon. I go by Sachi just because my middle name is Sachad. And so my mom made my name very, very difficult for a lot of people, but that's okay. I definitely wanted to, I love my name. And I definitely love having my mother, who is an ordained minister, and has been a single mom for about 18 years, and still is an ordained minister. She is not a practicing pastor at the time, just because we wanted to give her some time she wanted to take time with her kids. And we came to Arkansas in the US back in 2001. There are now 6 churches for the Wesleyan communities that we helped start. There's one in Searcy, there's one in Clarksville, in Conway, in Russellville, and then a few other cities, Jonesboro. So there's a few other cities as well that we helped definitely start here in Arkansas. We are part of the Bible Belt, which that just means that there's a church at every corner, in my opinion. But I'm blessed to be in the Bible Belt, and blessed to be in this precious and definitely land of opportunity. United States is definitely something that everybody seems to sometimes take for granted. I've come to realize, and I'm like, whoa, I catch myself doing it sometimes too. And I'm like, but, I definitely wanted to, reintroduce Claudia Fountain. Her and me we are co-founders of Learning Idiom. And she is not only my business partner, but my sister in Christ. And so we just want to embrace and educate our fellow Latino community, as well as everyone else, because we're both Latinas. That's where we have the most influence. And so we definitely are leaders in our communities for them. Here in Arkansas, about 30% of people have higher education. And so that's a very low number. Those are the residents. And so, people come here and they get an education and then they leave. And so me and Claudia and a lot of other people who have studied and have higher education definitely are leaders in the community. And so I love living here in Arkansas. Claudia's, I think she's very close to moving away from me, but that's okay. I love traveling, and, I met almost every single speaker on here. I met on Clubhouse or through Clubhouse. And so you would think one of the other ladies, I think I met her through Facebook as well. But I just definitely wanted to, again, express my gratitude for each one of you, as well as taking the time and also sharing your golden nuggets, as they say. And so, definitely want to introduce Miss Clayton here. She is a God-fearing woman, aspiring author, speaker, singer, and she is a humanitarian. And so just definitely ready for her. 15 to 30 minutes, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I am truly sorry. I'm at work. I'm a caregiver, so you may hear my patient in the back. But I definitely want to thank you. I was on Zoom before, and it just was not right. And I heard you call me when I was doing something. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. So I just want to introduce myself a little bit. I hope y'all can hear me okay. I need the film. Yeah? That again?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So my name is Shauna Lee, and I was born and raised in Jamaica. I'm a mother of four.
Do you happen to have earphones? I think we might be able to hear you a little bit better with earphones.
Oh, no, I do not. Truly sorry. Is this better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, I had you in my pocket because I'm dealing with. Would you like to skip me by any chance? Because I am dealing with the lung lady right now. Would that be all right? Can we go to somebody and just refresh?
That's
I'd
totally
appreciate
fine.
that.
Okay, well, we will have Miss Roberts next. She is an amazing, amazing person. She loves speaking about boundaries. She is not a mother, but she has so much wisdom that I needed to have her on here as well. And so, she loves luxury travel, good food, fashion, tropical beaches, designer brands, beauty, architecture, history, and she likes reading as well. And so she is looking for guidance and community for your UX design career. And so, she has a book. You can purchase it at reawakebook.com. And so, Ms. Roberts, definitely you have the floor.
Thank you, Sachi. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for having me. It's really exciting to be able to be here and share with you just some of my own experiences. As was said, I am not a mother, but I have been raised by a narcissistic mom. So there has been a lot of wisdom that has come out of that experience that I wanted to take a few minutes here and kind of share a couple of my thoughts for you to think about, especially if you're raising a gifted child. For me, I played golf competitively for almost 10 years. I was really good at it. Won my state tournament at 17. But the challenge I faced in being raised by a narcissistic mom was nothing was ever enough. So it didn't matter. Every time I would win something, the goalpost would move. And then I'd have to get to the next thing and to the next thing. And in the beginning, I could handle that because I was doing it well enough to meet her level of expectations. But when you start competing on like the national stage, it's different than when you're competing locally. There's a level of commitment, a level of effort, and just a level of internal drive that you have to have in order to be successful. And for me, while I enjoyed playing golf, it wasn't necessarily my driving passion. That was more of my mother's dream, I think, for me, because she wanted to live vicariously through me instead of finding her own thing and being able to love and support me in my own journey. So I wanted to, let's see. So you know how sometimes you'll see that one parent whose kid is amazing at a certain thing, maybe it's piano, painting, an athletic skill, and that parent is yelling at their kid for not performing perfectly. You feel secondhand embarrassment for the kid whose only flaw was not being perfect in the eyes of their mom or dad. I get it. My mom was that parent. She demanded perfection and couldn't, even when I beat my personal best on the golf course, she would still find ways to critique the round to where she would be like, okay, well, if you'd done X, Y, and Z, then you would have been able to get an even lower score. So it always kind of felt like nothing was ever enough. And so I want to be able to share a couple of tips with you guys today. The first is don't ignore your child when they're talking about their gifts, especially if they're struggling, and place your own expectations on that child. Because when you do that, you destroy your child's confidence and their self-esteem. Because when you're children, you haven't necessarily figured out that, like, hey, mom is a human being too, and if she says something, it doesn't guarantee that it's right or wrong. You think, well, she said it, so it must be true. So I must be not doing what I'm supposed to because she's not happy. My mom wouldn't listen to me when I was feeling down or burned out when I was competing and playing golf. Because like I said, I started at age 11 and played for about a decade. And most of that was at her behest because I knew it was what she enjoyed, not necessarily because it was my driving desire to be a professional golfer. She would just keep pushing and demanding her own way, even though it was really harming and affecting my physical and mental health. Can you imagine at 13, she had me sign a contract committing to do everything I could to be the best I could be at golf in order to earn a golf scholarship? I mean, can you imagine doing that to your own child, pressuring and manipulating your own child to get what you want? I would get in trouble if I tried to push back or set a boundary so that I had a chance to recover from my burnout. She would constantly critique and nitpick, leaving me feeling overwhelmed and insecure. So instead of doing what I've just shown you with my mom and constantly nitpicking and critiquing your child, my recommendation is to really consistently check in with your child. See how they're doing, how they're handling the pressure their gift brings. Listen to their words and watch their body language. Make sure that both of you are on the same page with regards to what they want, what their dreams are, their goals and aspirations. Because if you make your child's gifts about you, you run the risk of destroying it and damaging that relationship with your child. It happened with me and my mom. Her negative behavioral patterns that showed up on the golf course permeated every aspect of our relationship and forced me to eventually go no contact with her in order to heal from it. Everyone who's talked to me after I ended up quitting playing competitive golf knew that my mom was the main reason I quit. Don't be that parent. Secondly, don't try to live vicariously through your child or make their gifts about you. Your job is to love, nurture, support, and encourage your child, not use them as a tool to validate your own insecurities. As a former gifted child who grew up feeling like my gifts were more about keeping my mother happy so that she could get the attention she wanted and not necessarily about me, it created a lot of anger and resentment and frustration because I didn't feel seen, heard, or loved as a person. In my mind, I mattered because of what I could do for my mom and feed her desire for validation and attention, not for just being a human being and being her daughter. As a teenager and young adult, it always felt like my mom was either jealous of the gifts I had or she believed that the only way for her to live her dream was through me. My mom wanted to be able to play golf competitively and be able to compete on the LPGA tour. Besides, obviously, her age at the time, my mom was 5'2" and just not strong enough to be able to hit the ball long enough to be able to play competitively. That was different for me. I mean, I'm more than 5 inches taller than my mom, and I have a more athletic build that would be conducive with playing golf competitively. My problem wasn't necessarily that I didn't have the physical characteristics to do it. I didn't have the emotional connection and the mental desire and tools to be able to handle what was needed to compete on that level. I mean, when you're talking about whether you're playing in college or playing professionally, you really have to love what you're doing because there is a large level of sacrifice that has to go into that in order to be successful.
Ms. Roberts.
Yep.
You are not a former gifted child. You are still a gifted child.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So when you think about raising your gifted child, focus on nurturing, encouraging, and supporting them. If the dream is really that important to your child, they will make the choices themselves and then ask you for support to help them get there. If not, pushing them to get to the next level will create friction and cause harm to your relationship with your child. It did with mine. So remember these two important things when raising a gifted child. Don't place your own expectations on your child. Instead, listen to them as they share what's going on and how they feel regarding their gifts. Don't make their gifts about you. You are not your child. Focus on loving them, nurturing, and supporting them, and watch how they flourish. If you're interested in getting help setting boundaries to help you increase your performance or your child's performance regarding mental health, join me at my next Fearless Boundaries workshop on July 25th at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can visit fearlessboundaries.com and save your seat. Thank you. I'm done speaking.
That is amazing. Oh my gosh. So just to let y'all know, my co-host finally made it here on Clubhouse, even though she's on a call, because that's what women in business, you definitely always have to take a call. And so she's such an amazing person that I was like, oh, she texted me as you were talking and giving your story. Chanel, she was like, this is amazing. Wow. She was texting me. And so I definitely wanted to give her feedback because she might not be able to at the moment. But
she's back on Zoom.
I'm just like speechless right now. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
That was very brave of you to share. And it's amazing that you've recognized her narcissism ways, and that you were compassionate enough with self, because like as I wrote in my book Girl Power, which I'll talk about later, I was married to a narcissist husband too, who I was never good enough, so I applaud you. You are amazing. You are remarkable. And that you were compassionate enough for yourself. and in my book, and I quote, I said, in order to save us, I had to leave us. And you left your narcissistic mother to save yourself. So I applaud you. That's probably one of the hardest things you probably ever have done. And it's been 4 years for me since I left my 23-year marriage. And again, thank you so much for sharing that. It's such a sensitive topic, and it's not a popular topic, but people definitely need to talk about, the ramifications of being obligated to stay because she's your mother, Amazing. Yeah. And the doctor said earlier, you are still a gifted child. And I'm looking forward to how you're going to continue bless people's souls and pave the way. Again, thank you for sharing today.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's been 2.5 years since I went no contact with my family, and it has been probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's also been one of the hardest decisions I've ever made because I literally had to leave everybody. My mom is the main narcissist in my family who caused probably the most amount of damage. Unfortunately, my dad and my brother also share narcissistic tendencies and traits, not necessarily in the same way as my mom. And so realizing that, okay, this is who these people choose to be. The only way I'm going to get free and have a chance to heal from that is if I cut everything off. Because, I mean, for most of my adult life, I was in a very low contact relationship with my family. I mean, I have lived apart from them for, I think, more than 15 years. But nothing was ever going to change. And when my mom's mom died, and we had stuff with the will and the estate come up, it's like that was when the light bulb went on for me. It's like, okay, like clearly this is who she is. She's not going to change. Literally, there's nothing I can do that will be good enough or make her happy. So the only way I know how to protect myself and give myself a chance to heal is to go no contact. And it's been a journey. It's been really good in a lot of ways. And it's why I'm so passionate about sharing about boundaries with people right now, because it's literally part of what helped save my life. Because I got to the point where I'm like, I deserve better than this. And the only way I knew how to do that was to go no contact and to start over. So that's what I did. This is Chanel, and I'm done speaking.
That's amazing. And when you do become a parent yourself, I don't know if you are a mother or not, you breaking that generational tendency, right? I wonder if her mother was like that with her, again, this, humans are not born that way. As soon as the child is born, the mother does what? Nurtures them, loves them unconditionally, right? So it's definitely a learned trait that is it's horrible. And you often wonder, do they even love themselves or even recognize the damage that they can create and do?
Yeah, and I think just in my own journey of exploring and trying to understand narcissism and looking at my own roots, like I feel like both sides of my family, I have narcissistic tendencies. On my mom's side, I think it was more of her dad than her mom that had that. But my mom was an only child, and so she was pretty much spoiled her entire life. They always gave her whatever she wanted, and so in her mind, that's just the way everybody is supposed to interact with her. And so when I, as a child, started to actually have my own opinions and thoughts and feelings that weren't the same as her, that created a lot of friction and problems between us, because I was supposed to be an extension of her, not necessarily be my own person with my own thoughts, dreams, and desires.
Amazing, Chanel. Yeah. So Chanel, tell us again about the setting boundary workshop, so we can make sure to know where to go. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm doing a 3-hour boundaries workshop on June 25th at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. you can go to fearlessboundaries.com and register to attend that event. I think like I said, in my own experience, boundaries was one of those life-saving tools that I have been able to use to start to rebuild my life. And so I want to be able to help people both personally and professionally leverage boundaries to take back control and help them get to realizing their own dreams instead of just kind of passively waiting and hoping one day they'll happen.
Amazing. Like in my case, and I don't think I've shared this with you ladies, that I was approached during the pandemic last year to be part of a 6 collaboration with infamous author Phyllis Hodges. And you can get this book called Girl Powers. You can see it, Oprah and the former president of the wife of Obama. And on the back, it has a mirror that represents you are girl power. You know, you are strong, independent, you know. So I actually shared my story for the first time that I was in a very bad marriage, you know, and it was both gratifying and horrific because I had to relive that. So you see me, I live in a little apartment. I rent my furniture. I'm excited. I'm about to get new furniture for the first time in 4 years because I no longer want to pay for rented furniture. But I left my home. I left everything behind. He didn't have a very good childhood. His father beat him to a pulp. And as an empath, I wanted to, you know, show him that no, although that I am wife number 3, I'm not going to leave you and I'm going to heal you. But at the same time, I didn't know I was being broken myself. And I was too proud to ask for help. I went through it, you know, on my own. And my kids never saw any of it, really. He was a phenomenal father. But my daughter, after she turned 18 and graduated high school, she said, "Mom, I would have left Daddy a long time ago," because he was an alcoholic as well. But it has nothing. I had to say, like, what is wrong with me? Why couldn't I be good enough? You know, you start thinking that. But no, I said enough is enough. I planned it for a couple of years, saved my money, and I got this little apartment. I said, Lord, if this apartment was meant for me, 2017 November, I came to look at this apartment. I said, if this is still vacant and ready for me, then you're giving me the sign to do it, you know. And I did it. I left and not turning back. It was very difficult because, again, I have no family here. It's just me, my kids, and my ex-husband, right? And being a leader of the community, almost a hypocrite, because here I am. I never talked about abuse or any kind of narcissistic stuff. I didn't understand it then. But my point is this: at 24 years old, here comes a European man approaching you and telling you want to go around the world and explore the 4 corners of the world. Absolutely, I do. You know, my parents did not approve of it in the beginning, but the majority of narcissistic people are very charming. You know, as you can, one of the traits is that they can charm the pants off you, I'm telling you. So, yeah. So, but I didn't know he was moving me away from my support system, you see. So he had a plan, and here I am, a tender age of 23, 24, had my child at 24. Amazing father, amazing provider, but as a husband, oh my gosh, no. And there was a reason why he was married for, you know, had ex-wives. I was wife number 3. So, but that's what I was going to say. He had me in my late 20s, all of my 30s. And at 43, 44, I left. And I said, not another second of my life am I going to give this man. I'm out. Peace out. You can have the house. I don't care about any of the materialistic things. God has got me. And here I am. successful in terms of like how my parents raised me. You know, I didn't come from a violent family. My father never raised his voice to my mother. My mother, on the other hand, was Latina. Of course, you know, we are a little loud, but I'm telling you, I was just, you know, I was a fish out of a pond there with that. But I learned, and I'm now sharing it. It's my second year where I feel at peace talking about it. Before I couldn't, because I start bawling, but I'm pretty proud of myself. I wrote this book in terms of to heal other souls, and I'm working on, Ashleth is helping me and guiding me to write my second book, but it's also Mujer Poderosa, Girl Power, but in Spanish. I've already written it. I just have to have her help me out with that. But I just wanted to again commend you.
And I'm happy to do so. Yes, ma'am. So, you know, that's funny that you mentioned, you know, my writer's masterclass. You know, I have like over 300 people in my Facebook group that they literally, I want to say within 1 to 2 weeks, like I accepted to, you know, the writer's masterclass. And to me, that was a sign from God saying, you're going where I want you to go. And so, you know, that's so awesome that you mentioned, you know, our language, because that's what I had to, I was like, oh, Mujer Poderosa, I had to like Spanish. It's like a little, you know, whenever you're driving and you see, you know, something come in front of your road, you know, language is definitely that for me. And especially the Spanish language, because me and both Claudia, we are Latina women. Certain words, certain just, you know, automatopoeias is how they say it in English. And, you know, we just, it just kind of like, you know, siéntate, or, you know, basically commands, or, you know, uy, or, you know, just certain things like that, that in our culture, and I'm sure in every single culture has, you know, it's just something that definitely catches, you know, our attention. And so I think, you know, Chanel sharing her story and sharing how, you know, she had the strength to withdraw from a toxic relationship, regardless if it's your parent, regardless if it's your husband, regardless of if it's you yourself. Sometimes you are toxic to yourself. And so I had to realize that. And because, you know, I don't know. Only God knows how much grace I've had to have. And so, and, you know, I'm a big believer. You know, the Bible says that when you believe, you are a child of God. And so to me, whatever you believe it with all your heart, believe it with all your mind, believe it with all your strength. I identify as a, you know, Christian believer, but I do have that Jewish heritage that I was drawn to. You know, there's a saying in Spanish. It says, you know, la sangre te llama. You know, it literally is translated to your bloodline calls you. But I just want to definitely say, Jesus died for you, and regardless of anything and anyone and any trauma that you might have, any experience that might have caused that physical or mental trauma, you still have the opportunity to have a new life, have a different life, have a a life full of joy and peace and prosperity. And, you know, not prosperity when it comes to money, but prosperity in your soul, which is priceless. And so I definitely wanted to piggyback on that, because like Claudia always does, she inspires me so much to just say certain things. And just like every person on this stage and every person that, you know, you have heard, if you resonate with what they say, follow them. You know, I am on Clubhouse right now, and so I always tell everyone to follow who you resonate with, because you create your own experience on this app. And so if you resonated with someone that has spoken, definitely give them a follow, look into their profile. You know, Learning Idiom is the one who is hosting this parenting summit. It is a 501c3 nonprofit that we are trying to not only empower and educate our community, but definitely it's a virtual vocational academy that teaches English and Spanish, as well as some other skills. And so just wanted to reset the room really quickly before we go to the next speaker.
Before you go, I need to say something real quick about Claudia. Claudia, you cannot be, oh, I was trying to make sure I kept the word. The word is, you can't be a hypocrite to something that you did not know. You said that you were a hey. You said you was a hypocrite because you, because of the narcissistic things that happen pertaining to, when we don't know something, we're not responsible. That's the whole point of not knowing, right? Oh, I had to give you that one, sis. I'm just sorry. I had to give you that one. You cannot be.
No, that is gold. That is definitely running that one, taking it to the bank for sure. No, it's just that I didn't know how much people, like, I didn't know God was going to put me in this position to where I'm interpreting birth, deaths, and everything in between. It's something that I've been knocking on doors for 20 years and nobody would listen to me. I said, if you don't have bilingual people in your area, we're a wave of us coming to this town. I said, you either hire me now or start hiring other bilingual speakers, because you're going to miss out economically and culturally, enriching your businesses, and so you can sell your products and services to our culture as well. And when I say hypocrite, was because for years people would see me in all the events, but I was always by myself. And I had a lot of Latina ladies that were going through spousal abuse, domestic violence. Every 6-10 seconds, a woman dies in the arms of their lovers. Indeed. So don't get started. I've got all the stats in their, research, but that's what I meant. I felt like I was going to fail as a leader to share that. Hey, I felt like it wasn't really their burden to know. Not that in a way, maybe I was ashamed. I'll say that. But now that I talk about it, it's something that is so, it happened to me, but look at me now. Look at me now. I've succeeded in terms of like my businesses, and I have leaders in the state from all sorts of cultures, backgrounds, that ask me for advice and ask me for my products and services as a certified interpreter. That to me is like, okay, God, thank you. So it's pretty.
The more we tell our story, the stronger we become. It gives us the stool to land on. And I'm going to tell you something. I know me and another woman are the only other African American women in the room, but I got some culture in the back of me too. So don't let this other color skin fool you. Yeah, there's some Mexicano in there and some cha-cha in there too. So you never know who you might come into contact with, right, y'all?
That is so true. That's true. I love it. No, utopia of beautiful feminine goddesses in the room for sure.
So sure. What we may have to do with the Zoom, we are at the 2 hour mark on the Zoom. Wow. Those that are on the Zoom that can shift over to Clubhouse, that may be what has to happen. And I will have an honor, because I didn't know if you knew I was recording this. I will send this to you all, because you'll have it. And I'm not going anywhere. I just wanted to make sure I shift it, because I am open on Clubhouse so that they can hear you on Zoom, right?
Really quick. I think Sharon is waiting so patiently.
Oh no, she's still going to be able to speak.
Introduce themselves meanwhile on Clubhouse.
Naomi, she's still going to be able to speak.
Naomi, on the Clubhouse is still going to be open. It's just the Zoom part that's going to be.
Is this closing?
No.
No, I
The Clubhouse
understood, but
room
I'm
is
saying
not
like maybe
closing?
before we hear the next speaker, they're really quick and so they, or maybe they have a question because they so patiently listen to all of us.
Sure, yeah. Sharon and Dr. Susan, if you guys have any questions for the
Oh, I have
panelists?
something to say. I haven't actually got a question, but I just want to say I'm blown away listening to you all. And just to say, I'm not prejudiced against anyone, but I just want to say it's actually that I'm Jewish. So there's 3 of us on here that are Jewish. Because you were saying how you had 2 Jewish friends on here. We've now got 3. And wow.
Shalom, shalom.
Shabbat, shalom. No, not Shabbat. Yes, it is Shabbat.
Shavua tov. Yeah,
I'm Jewish by birth,
also,
but that's about as far as it goes. So, but anyway, what I wanted
make
to
sure
say
to
was
follow each other and DM each other on Instagram too. Yeah. Yes, Sharon.
definitely. I thought you were actually talking about children with special needs, and I have got a son with autism. But was it you, Naomi, that said about your mother, the narcissistic mother?
Well, actually,
Chanel.
Chanel. I just want to say I'm blown away by that because, oh my God, it's made me realize that's what my mum is. And I unfortunately lost my husband 18 years ago when I was 39. And my children were 5 and 7. And my son Oliver's got special needs. He's got autism, dyspraxia, ADHD, learning difficulties, speech impairments, and global delay. He's an absolute delight and I love him to bits, but he's hard work. And a week before my husband died, I wanted my mum to come over and look after the kids, and she couldn't. She had an appointment. And I could understand.
I wasn't saying anything, but we're gonna go ahead and shift over to Clubhouse.
The day he died, I wanted her to come over and look after the kids, and she had another appointment. On that day, she was having her nails